All right, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani, and if you're joining us here, you're obviously you are. What I have to tell you is we're winding down to one of the last few moments of what's going to be a very historic Indian Premier League final, an edition that is has been monumental and memorable for various reasons. But we are counting down, and it's the last over that I'm going to be joining you in for. Just a couple of deliveries left. Of course, Shashank trying to hoik it. He gets to his half century. If this doesn't go wide, it does. Just shot one outside the ropes to reach his half century. But the larger story here, of course, is it's only resulted in one team inching towards a win that they never could fathom for 17 long years. You're seeing pictures of AB de Villiers standing by the ropes. Dinesh Karthik's managed to smile finally. One man is crying, he's in tears, so are many others. Virat Kohli has been emotional over the entire stadium, most of which is bathed in red, is just celebrating what is a monumental win for the Bengaluru franchise as Kohli crumbles to the ground. And everyone rushing to hug him, crowd him over. It's indeed a very, very special night for everyone. And if you're just joining us in now at any point as fireworks go off in Gujarat at the Ahmedabad Stadium, Bengaluru Royal Challengers have managed to beat the Punjab franchise in the IPL, winning by 6 runs to lift what is a maiden title for them that has been 18 years too long to come. The pic, what I am seeing, of course, is everybody getting so emotional. Kohli's eyes are bloodshot, they're red. He's been sobbing through the last over. Everyone knows how big a moment this is for the former captain of the franchise, the face of the franchise, even as you see the stands and Anushka Sharma, his wife, his partner, someone who's been through all the ups and downs of his international career as well, the turmoil that he has experienced and withstood, being part of a franchise that was always touted as a franchise that just didn't know how to win big. They had the big names, they always splurged, they got the best in the business over the many decades that the many years they were part of, over a decade. They got the best, including AB de Villiers, for whom this has to be a special moment. He's in fact recording this on his phone to just make him realize what an achievement this is by a franchise that he's spent many years a part of. So yes, this is, I think this is one of those moments that will never ever be missed. Even as all the players shake hands, the enormous effort that it's taken for this franchise to come this far is not missed on anyone who's present at the ground. Definitely not the crowd, definitely not the franchise themselves, the players themselves. Kohli finally letting out a big roar there because all of that emotions riding off to one of joy. It's going to take a while for this moment to definitely sink in. But the crowd, of course, has erupted, no doubt in that, because there were tons and tons of rows and rows of red that had dotted this stadium. And no one was wanting to say those words, Isala Cup Namde, which translates to this year the trophy shall be ours. No one wanted to say those words the entire season. The fans themselves have really been so anxious, even in these moments, because they know how close Bengaluru as a franchise has come to lifting the title without reaching the final. They've looked good right till the playoffs, and they've obviously faltered even when they've looked like a very strong unit. And this has been a very, very impressive, strong squad that they had put together. And you'd have to agree that a part of this win, a part of this moment, all began at the auction table when you had the likes of Dinesh Karthik, who again, a part of this franchise, transitioned to being a mentor after he left cricket and has really been one of the most important cogs in the wheel in that system. I've spoken to a lot of the people who've worked in that team, who played in that team, who are part of this current setup, and everyone speaks of certain players and certain members of that franchise who've been instrumental in the way this team has behaved as a confident unit throughout the season. And Dinesh Karthik's name has propped up more often than not. He's really taken on the role of a mentor so well. Is there something he just cannot do? Transition from a player to a commentator and now as a mentor. So huge kudos to someone like him as well as all the other members, because this unit was unlike any squad that a Bengaluru outfit managed to rustle up together at the auction table. You had a strong bowling unit which didn't have the jazz and the spark that you normally associate Bengaluru with. They had someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar. They had someone like Yash Dayal, whom they kept the faith, who they always kept the faith of. In fact, Bhuvneshwar and Hazelwood have been really the pillars of this Bengaluru outfit right through this entire season. In fact, another key aspect, another key asset who really proved to be critical in this particular match and also for the season, and someone who again played a very, very important role in those middle overs. You have to talk about Krunal Pandya. In fact, that's one of the key things that was missing in a lot of the other franchises who looked just as good. One of them, of course, being Mumbai outfit. They missed that really good Indian spinner in that middle overs. Krunal Pandya really playing that role to perfection, particularly today. Punjab still had it in them to take this away. Even though they lost a couple of wickets initially and they lost their captain, they still had players who could take this to the end, who could see this through. And despite that, I think Krunal Pandya and Suyash, the very young Suyash who dazzled in Kolkata. In fact, that's when he really came to the fore in Bengaluru. Really displayed absolute grit in those middle overs to completely create a chokehold on the Punjab batting lineup, and that really changed the tide and balanced it all out. Someone like Josh Hazelwood, again, very, very underrated when it comes to IPL and performing in the IPL. He's an absolutely star performer for his national side. He's been clinical in this entire season. Yash Dayal Romario made up for that drop catch, which would have been crucial at that point when the opening combination was setting up for a very sharp opening stand. Punjab, that drop catch on the ropes, Romario Shepherd made up for it with his bowling performance. Same goes to a lot of the other players who came in, who weren't part of the setup initially, someone like Phil Salt. But really, Bengaluru is about the emotion. And the reason why I say this is because gathered at the stadium are so many stalwarts who've really become associated with the franchise just purely through their charisma. I spoke about A.B. de Villiers a while ago. Well, Chris Gayle is also present at the stadium wearing a turban. And sort of congratulating everyone congratulating everyone for this moment that they really couldn't imagine or fathom coming, especially after 18 years. There was so much talk about Virat Kohli's jersey number 18 and what that means this year for them, this being the 18th year, the coming of age of a franchise in some ways. You talk about that magic number 18 in a person's life. And that's what it's been for Bengaluru, really. A story that has gone through and stood the test of time. I keep talking about the players, the coaching staff, the players who've been part of the franchise for the years before. I have to talk about the fan base. Every player there right now is talking about exactly that, how the fans have really been through this with this team, through thick and thin. They've really gone on cheering them just as hard, no matter the heartbreaks, no matter the dejections. and they've come out talking about how they would turn it around at least this season. Josh Hazelwood, speaks about what this win means for Virat Kohli in particular, what it meant for them to be there together with the franchise from the start, and how much of a critical part he holds in that. And there are pictures, of course, of Virat Kohli going and meeting his partner Anushka Sharma on the sidelines, and what this means for both of them. They're a sort of this has been some time coming, and it's been one of his biggest dreams. And you can sense the emotions and how important this win really is to someone like Virat Kohli. Dinesh Karthik, of course, has also had a bit of a chat, and he speaks about how this team, a team that he hasn't been part for too long, has waited 18 years for something like this. There are so many franchises who still haven't won a title, but for Bengaluru, this means something more than just winning an IPL title to their name. It's something that they have longed for. It's something that the fans have truly desired, and that's what this means for them. And Dinesh, of course, also echoing what every member of that franchise, every player there says. This win truly belongs to Virat Kohli and the fans. Phil Salt speaks about how it's an unbelievable feeling. He, of course, knows what it's like to be a part of a winning combination. Says they've had many sleepless nights, and part of it obviously is because of the nerves and just the weight of the moment. The magnitude of something as huge as being in a final, let alone winning it. But yeah. Everyone, the pictures tell a story. All family members just coming down onto the ground to meet their partners and members of the family who've been part of this absolutely scintillating performance for the franchise. Dinesh Karthik thanking the support staff as well. More often than not, we really do not talk about the people behind the scenes who really make things happen. I've been part of IPL franchises as content, as part of the content lead, and there's something one of the physios, I think, had mentioned it to me, who's also now working with the NCA and working with the Indian team, and he said that a franchise truly wins or goes all the way when every single member, irrespective of the players, it's everyone who's involved in that franchise, is in sync and is bonds together, and there's that energy that sort of makes a difference, and that really happens in a winning season. And I've been part of two such teams, so I know what he's trying to say. So I know how important the role of support staff plays, how important fans are, how important the association is, the people who work with you at the ground at different levels. All of that really matter. The hotel that you're staying, everyone who tends to you, who you meet through the day, whether it's at the breakfast table, whether it's at the practice sessions. All of that really makes a difference. Virat Kohli coming out and speaking to Matthew Hayden, really getting emotional. And he speaks about exactly what every fan says. Every year they come out cheering for Bengaluru, thinking this year would be it. Kohli says every year he comes out thinking this year he and his team will win the title, and they could finally say it. The picture for me, of course, another moment that's being captured by everyone around. Virat Kohli hugging AB de Villiers in what seems to be a very, very long, emotional embrace. And of course, Kohli speaking about how this win means everything to him. It's one thing about winning for your country, but it's another thing winning for a franchise, because that's special. That's a team that you can truly say is yours. It belongs to you. And Virat Kohli, much as we would see him as a Delhi kid, he is as much a Bangalore boy. If ever there was a team that he would or a city that he would associate with. He talks about how this win is as much his as it is that for the fans, and as much it belongs to AB de Villiers. he speaks about how AB de Villiers, no matter the fact that he hasn't been part of this setup, this trophy and this moment, when they're lifting the trophy, they want. He speaks about how he wants AB de Villiers to be a part of it as well. And I just spoke about how he's such a Bengaluru boy, and Kohli just says that his heart is with Bengaluru, and so is his soul. I think that's what that's what's special about a tournament like the IPL. You can be from a city, but the franchise that you end up playing for, especially for so many years, it sort of becomes a part of your a psyche. It becomes a part of your of of your being, and at some point it becomes more about not wanting to do it for yourself, but wanting to do it for the city, for the people who sort of cheer you on and look up to you and support you and are there for you, right, year after year, no matter the results. We spoke about Phil Salt saying how they've had so many sleepless nights, picturing this final and waiting to play for this final, because remember they had a long break before coming into this final. In fact, longer than what Punjab did. Virat Kohli says he's going to sleep like a baby tonight because he's finally won the one thing that was missing for so many years. We speak about World Cups and players not having won. I mean, there are many players who still haven't won an IPL title, and so many of them strive hard year after year to have this in their cabinet, have this against their name. And what Kohli clearly says, this is exactly the feeling that he wanted to experience before he hung up his boots and called it quits from the game entirely. He wanted to experience what it would feel like to have won an IPL. Really, what a moment for this entire franchise. We spoke a while back about momentum. How Bengaluru had those few days before they came to this final, and you'd think that a team that beat Mumbai just a few days ago, just a day or two ago, the momentum had to be with someone like Punjab. They were coming in red hot. They were coming in on a fabulous win. Shreyas Iyer coming in on the back of a captain's knock, someone who led from the front and really dug his team out from there to chase down a 200 plus total for the first time against Mumbai and win. And that was unbelievable. That was a great moment. So obviously you had the momentum going with Punjab. Punjab had to be in it as they entered this particular match. So what really happened? If I had to break down the match itself to a few key pointers where Bangalore sort of won those little moments and Punjab lost those. It would have to be the fact that they put Bengaluru into bat, and that's interesting because chasing in any big final is absolutely nerve-wracking. Getting a total and chasing it down is absolutely nerve-wracking, and to see a total that's 190 plus can always be deflating, no matter who the opposition, no matter the pedigree of the batters, no matter what strong a batting lineup you could have. So that was, I think, a very daunting proposition for Punjab right at the get-go, seeing a target as big as that, even though it was a flat track. But there was something, it was slightly fast-paced. It wasn't entirely a dream surface, but it was a good one to bat on and good one to chase this down. But again, chasing in a final, it's going to be absolutely a very, very difficult task. And they were up against a bowling unit that didn't have the bells and whistles, and it didn't have the, like I said, the glam and the jazz of many of the teams, like a franchise like Mumbai. But they did the job. Someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, I have to speak about what a silent warhorse he's been for this franchise. What a silent warhorse he's been for any franchise that he's been a part of, whether it's the Hyderabad franchise, whether it's Bengaluru, whether it's the Indian setup. He does the job. Is the national side missing someone like him who comes in there? There is a possibility, even Yes, it's a steep climb, but you still got people like Shashank. You still had people like Stoinis who were trouble, who were dangerous, who could take the match away with just a few hits. And Bhuvneshwar Kumar just comes in there, puts his head down, nails those full Yorkers outside of those sharp deliveries that really has the batters in a bit of a spot, and just keeps that pressure on. The pressure that Krunal Pandya created in the middle overs, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Yash Dayal just kept that pressure on right till the end. And seriously, you could see what this win meant for every single person who's been associated with Bengaluru, who's been part of this franchise, who's part of it right now, who was part of it in the past. Really, the heart definitely goes out to someone like to a franchise like Punjab. Seriously, they completely overhauled what the team and what the setup has meant for the fans, for the league itself over the last few years. Shreyas Iyer, you have to hold your head high despite not delivering today, despite it being not the kind of day that you wanted to. He'd obviously have to hold his head high because it's been a fabulous campaign by Punjab outfit. They came out all guns blazing, very new team. Again, an auction. They came in with a heavy purse because they rejigged their entire squad. A lot of people out, and they completely built a new outfit with a brand new coach and a captain who really did magic. Yes, it would have been absolutely. It would have been another special win had Shreyas Iyer and Punjab gone all the way, because this would have meant that he's taken two separate teams to back-to-back IPL wins. So yes, well, that would have been just as momentous. This is a special story too. Either ways, I think what as sports lovers, as lovers of sport of cricket, you'd sleep easy and you'd rest easy, thinking this has been a wonderful day where the sport has triumphed, where a team that has worked so hard for years, a team that has been backed by the most loyal fans, the fans who've always gone back home dejected, who always been a bit of the butt of all jokes of every season and every season of the Indian Premier League. To think that it's been a special night for all of those, I think that's something that is what sport is about. Seeing those emotional moments and really and witnessing something absolutely special happening. Uh, if I have to speak about a lot of the other key contributors for the Bengaluru franchise, you have to speak about their new captain. How can this win not have a mention of Rajat Patidar, one of the youngest captains in the league? Again, many new captains came forward this season, whether it was someone like Shubman Gill for Gujarat Titans, a lot of young captains really taking over, whether it was Ruturaj Gaikwad for Chennai, and of course there were a lot of senior hands as well. But seriously, for someone like Rajat Patidar to come in there, sense of quiet confidence that he displayed right from the start of the season, didn't have any nerves around him. He was confident as he led. He did take the support of someone like Virat Kohli, and I think that is one of those standout moments for this franchise. They really didn't. It didn't seem like everything rested with just one person at the top. It was a very free flowing squad that really went from moment to moment depending on how things flowed. Because you even had someone like Jitesh who led the team at a crucial league game against Lucknow, where a win really would have meant a top two finish, which is exactly what happened. What a smooth journey for them to really finish strong at the end of the league, holding steam even after having a very power-packed performance right through the season, kept themselves completely at ease. They did not peak suddenly or fall. They kept their performances consistent, did not show any irregularity in the way they were performing as a unit, as a team. Everyone delivered. It wasn't over reliant on one particular force. You had a day when Kohli had a huge performance coming in. and on some days it was Phil Salt. On some other days it was David Padikkal who came in and really held that middle order together. And of course, you had those bowlers who really were those silent contributors who backed them all up, and one of the primary reasons why they are champions of IPL 2025. It is that strong bowling unit that really stayed consistent right through, making sure that they finished in the top two, which was decided at the very last game, in a game that saw Jitesh Sharma, a young player, captaining a side and having and playing a very, very key role in that win, a match-winning performance by Jitesh to take them to the top two, and of course win that first qualifier to seal that spot in the final, and not letting go of that momentum despite the break, despite the 4-day hiatus between their last game and this grand final. Seriously, it's a fairy tale end to a franchise that has for many years endured so many ups and downs that a lot of the other franchises, frankly, haven't had the misfortune, or should I say fortune, to have experienced, because a lot of these slumps, a lot of these near misses is what sort of ties you up and makes and completes the whole circle and makes you a very stronger, more emotionally sound player at the end of the day. I think a lot of the feelings that or the ups and downs that Bengaluru experienced as a franchise, you know what that meant for someone like Virat Kohli. All of that really shapes you for this particular moment. And he's the only one to have survived that 2016 final to come to this point and be a part of this one. And seriously, this is going to be one IPL that is going to be unforgettable for every person who's been a part of this franchise and who's also cheered this franchise on. And even as we on the outside try to analyze how this journey has been, it is one of those scripts that was written so perfectly. There was this phase also when you had that India-Pakistan tensions that was rising, and the league had to come to a standstill, which it did, and was discontinued for a week, restarted a week later. And in those moments, of course, every franchise underwent a lot of changes. A lot of players from different franchises couldn't be a part in case their team went to the playoffs. And a lot of those and a lot of the players who were part of those top four, the teams who made it to the top four, were key players in that setup, and their absence would have really shifted that team balance a bit. It happened with Bengaluru as well, but how they managed to come out of it, with Agarwal playing those last 4 games, him stepping up, Mike Agarwal stepping up as well. They didn't have a few key players. Initially, they weren't going to have Josh Hazelwood, but somehow he decided to stay back for the playoffs and really was a very, very critical part of this franchise, this team, and a very, very important reason for the victory as well, for the important reason why Bengaluru ended up winning the IPL edition this year. A lot of these, so a team that really could negate all of that, negate the different challenges that they were given, that they were met with. And a lot of teams had a lot of issues right through the season, whether it was the break here owing to geopolitical tensions and situations, and teams losing a lot of their key personnel. For Gujarat, it was, of course, Joss Butler. How did franchises come out of something like that? I think that also was true testament to the grit of a particular team, that no one is indispensable. We will forge ahead no matter losing out on personnel owing to injuries or otherwise, or situations or national commitments. How did they forge ahead despite all of that? I think that was again also telling on the kind of character that this particular franchise, that Bengaluru displayed this year. They were clearly a team on a mission, and they proved so. This win says so. I'm also, obviously there were many other teams that were vying for this title and that could have gone all the way. Not just Punjab, Mumbai were looking good too. They had an absolutely horrid start to the season, and they picked themselves up much into that first stage after 5-6 games, and they proved to be a tough contender. Uh, Bengaluru went past them too. A team like Lucknow too surged towards the end, had a mixed bag of season. Punjab, again, a team that really looked good right till the end, had a lovely set of Indian core that was performing for them. Gujarat Titans, again, a solid outfit that was looking threatening. But Bengaluru, despite the setbacks, despite the challenges, they somehow managed to turn everything around, um, defeat all odds, and really stitched what is truly a memorable season for this franchise. Um, how did the other teams fare otherwise? Would they feel this was something that they missed out on? Um, there were a lot of moments where many franchises could come in and really prove how sharp an outfit that they were. But some scripts like this are just it isn't something that we can really foretell. It isn't something that can truly sum up what it has been and what all has gone through. But on performance, on paper, and the way they have really held everything together, I think it does feel like this was some time coming, and no other season barring this one could really have done it. I think everything fell into place, whether it was the players, whether it was the support staff, um, really coming together to make this one a very, very special night. And I'm sure and I'm certain. Um, Kohli said he'd sleep like a baby, but I'm sure many others are going to have sleepless nights. That's how it's going to be, and why not? It's not something that has come easy. It was 18 years too long in waiting. So the revelry and the celebrations are going to go right through the night for every RCB fan. The streets are going to be filled with celebrations, with people partying and reliving all those moments right from season 1 till season 18. I know my feed across all social media platforms are going to be blasting a lot of these memes and tweets and much celebrations and uh, through the night, and of course for days to come. And I can imagine how that's going to be for everyone who's really supported this team and who's wanted to see this team lift a title. This is your moment. A huge congratulations to a franchise that's really told a sharp story of how anything is possible if everyone put their hearts to it. But yes, that's what we're wrapping up our special live in post this IPL final. If you've just tuned in, Bengaluru has finally lifted an IPL title after 17 long years in the 18th edition by beating Punjab by 6 wickets. So that's exactly um, how it's progressed, and but I'm sorry, and that's I would just retrace. But yes, this is what we're bringing to you. Bengaluru lifting that IPL title, beating Punjab.